It is indeed the 14th day of February 2024. Good afternoon and welcome to KBC Channel 1 Lunchtime News on this Valentine and Ash Wednesday. My name is Njue. Anwangeshi will be our sign language interpreter for this live newscast. This is what my colleagues and I have lined up for you. Also reminding you that a little bit later in this conversation we'll be having a candid conversation on soil testing, and I will be joined by Manoj Kausha, who is a soil scientist. That's a little bit later in this bulletin. Of course, for questions, suggestions, or even where you're watching us from, follow us on our social media spaces as we are live. Straight to the news. We do begin this live newscast from Parliament, which resumes its sittings yesterday, where the National Security Advisor to the President, Monica Juma, is appearing before the National Assembly Justice and Legal Affairs Committee to contribute to the National Administrative Law Amendment Bill. Let's first of all cross over to Parliament buildings. All right, all right, we'll be getting to that report a little bit later on. Appearing before the JLAC committee is Monica Juma. But in other news, Bishop Nathan Kirimi of Jesus Winner Chapel in Meru County has surrendered an AK-47 rifle with 17 rounds of ammunition to Meru Police Station. Speaking after handing over the firearm to Imenti North Sub-County Police Commander Ezekiel Chepkwony, the bishop said the firearm was given to him by one of his worshippers who surrendered his life to God. Chepkwony called upon other people who are in the possession of illegal firearms to surrender them. The Sub-County Police Commander warned that their days are numbered for those who do not comply.
And I'm also giving a warning to those who are still out there with illegal firearms that their days are numbered. And very soon we shall catch up with them.
Wakanjiona kuwa hawana security na hawana roho ya kuenda kusarenda kwa kituo chetu cha polisi ama vituo vyetu vya serikali, wapeleke kwa makanisa. Pastors wako ready kuchukua hizo silaha na kusisarenda kwa polisi, kwa sababu silaha kama ikiwa na raia ni hatari kwa society.
In other news, Energy Cabinet Secretary Davis Chirchir and the Director General of the Energy, Petroleum and Regulatory Authority, Daniel Kiptoo, have been summoned to appear before the Senate to shed light on the Embakasi gas explosion that led to the death of 7 people and the injury of 300 others. However, the two were a no-show, with the Energy CS stating that he was out of the country through a letter submitted to the committee. As Abdi Aziz Hashim now tells us, the CS and the IPRA DG are expected to appear before the committee next week on Tuesday or risk being fined $500,000 shillings.
The Cabinet Secretary, Mr. Davis Chirchir, EGH, is currently out of the country on official state duty, and as such will not be able to appear before the committee on the stated date. The purpose of this letter is therefore to convey the apology of the Cabinet Secretary
when urgent matters touching on the lives and livelihoods of the people of this republic, and specifically the people of Nairobi, that a Cabinet Secretary would write to this committee only hours before the meeting to tell us that he has traveled.
The parliamentary business takes precedence over any other business. And that is what I know, and that has been the practice in this parliament.
Mr. Chairman, I'm so disappointed. People have died. Kenyans need answers. And you know, just taking to court a few people here and then giving them bond, it doesn't answer the question.
A photo of a young man, 14-year-old, who passed on yesterday. If you look at those two photos, Chair, the bodies haven't been removed from different hospitals, released from different hospitals.
I therefore think that we should just go ahead and use the powers vested in us to summon the CS, the Director General of EPLA, and the PS, and most importantly, find out which other installations are in residential areas within the country, so that we try to see how we can avoid an occurrence of such incidents in any other part of the country.
In other news, a family in Narok County is living in fear of eviction following a land ownership tussle with an alleged influential individual. The family claims it has been living on the 0.14-acre piece of land for decades. The family lamented that despite holding genuine land title deeds, it has been denied rightful ownership and accused of unlawfully occupying the land.
Kwa sababu sijui ni wapi wanatoa title deed, na title deed mother title ni mimi niko naye na kila kitu niko naye ni intact. Nimeenda lands, nimefanya search, hata nimeweka caution, nimeweka status quo kwa lands. Sasa lands wanasemaga shamba ni yangu. Mimi ninashindwa kwa nini government hainisimamii nibomoe hiyo ardhi, kwa sababu high court waliniambia nibomoe, nichukue court bailiff niende nikabomoe. Ninaomba serikali nisaidie.
Residents of Lamu East Sub-County have lauded the introduction of mobile and virtual court systems, citing significant improvements in access to justice within the region. The residents say the implementation of this innovative judicial mechanism has addressed long-standing challenges facing those seeking justice or legal redress in physical courts.
For years, the residents of Lamu East have faced logistical hurdles in reaching the Lamu law courts, creating a barrier to justice for many.
Wengine wamekuwa wakikosa haki yao kwa sababu ya hizi changamoto namna hii. Wanakosa haki yao kwa sababu ya ufuatilizi. Mtu pengine anatakaniwa kusimama kotini. Kesi inaweza kuchukua mpaka mwaka mmoja mpaka miaka 10.
The arrival of mobile courts has been heralded as a transformative development, bringing justice closer to the communities.
Uwepo wa hizi mobile courts imeweza pia kupunguza idadi ya uhalifu kwa hali ya juu sana. Kwa sababu gani? Watu wale uhalifu wanajua kwamba lao atashikwa ashtakiwe, basi ataweza ile kupelekwa kotini aweze kushtakiwa hapo kwa hapo.
In addition to the mobile courts, the integration of virtual court systems has further expanded access to justice. Residents can now participate in legal proceedings remotely, reducing the need for physical appearances, thus overcoming geographical barriers.
Hata vile sasa mahakama inaenda kufanya mambo ya e-filing, watakuwa si lazima kuja kule Lamu kufanya mambo ya filing ya cases za civil. Kama kesi ni za mashamba, watafile kesi zao bado wakiwa hapa Lamu.
Niliwahi kufanya kesi nyingi kama 4 hivi mwezi huu, zote nimetumia virtual. Nakuta mwanamke anakwambia na mtoto mimi siwezi kufika na baba ameenda baharini, kwa hivyo leo sitaweza kuja kotini. Basi unamfundisha, karani anamfundisha, halafu anaingia kwa mtandao na kesi inafanyika.
As Lamu East Sub-County continues to experience the positive effects of these advancements in the judicial system, there is optimism that the government will heed the calls for a permanent court facility. Jacqueline Masharia for Lunchtime News.
Now, the Director of Public Prosecutions want Kevin Adams Njue wanted in the United States of America for the alleged murder of his girlfriend held at Industrial Area Prison pending the hearing and determination of the extradition proceedings. Njue, who escaped from police cells last week, was rearrested at 4 a.m. on Wednesday at his hideout in Gong area in Kajiado County. The DPP says given the fugitive has escaped from lawful custody at Muthaiga police station, he should now be confined in prison awaiting the extradition order.
The wear of the shoes, the most where it pinches most. once bitten, twice shy. That's all I can say. So we cannot take that risk. There are still police stations. And these are the remarks of the DPP. We are ready and willing to prosecute this case as soon as possible.
It's 3 o'clock too late. I think 3 o'clock I will be done with the rest of the work, and then I'll also have done this ruling.
Well, our courts team, led by Ruth Wamboi, will be giving us what the court will determine in regards to that application from the Milimani Law Courts all the way to Siaya, is it Siaya? Yes, Siaya County, where we are joined by my colleague Achola Simon, who has been following up on community networks, the project that is being launched there, and he joins us now with the following report. Good afternoon, Achola. What is the latest from that side?
Njue, and of course happy Valentine's Day to all the ladies in the background. As you rightly put it, we are actually in Siaya County, and we are keeping our eyes on the ongoing community services internet connectivity summit here in Siaya County. And basically, as we all know, Ben, the fact that the government has already laid down the marker by investing in the 100,000 kilometers digital super highway. And of course, the minister has also pronounced himself in terms of ensuring that they will actually be launching at least 149,000 digital laboratories across the country. But more importantly, also they will be doing 45,000 hotspots across the country in markets. That, of course, is a commendable job. But moving forward, so that then each and every person in the community can actually access internet, we have small internet providers who are actually gathering here in Akala, in Siaya County, to actually deliberate on so many issues. And Njue, some of the things that they're actually deliberating on is how they are going to make internet viable to the communities in the village, how they are actually going to ensure that the communities in the very remote areas of this country actually utilize the internet in terms of information, but the of course the internet engineer Odhiambo, who will just step on the set, then he can actually discuss more about what they're actually deliberating on in this particular summit.
Thank you very much. My name is Alfonso Odhiambo, the president of Internet Society Kenya chapter, and today marks a very good platform for us as community network service providers, especially in mitigating the government mission to connect the unconnected. So what we are doing today is just to make sure that we bring different stakeholders together and create a platform where we can have a collaboration, we can have a mitigation towards providing critical services to our communities, especially in the ground or in the unconnected part of the underserved areas.
So just before you continue, you say connecting the unconnected. Just kindly give us the status in the country in terms of connectivity to the internet services.
According to ICT Authority, I think now we are kind of 1% using the internet in Kenya, and a big portion of Kenyans are still outside the connectivity. And if you look at the digital landscape in Kenya, we are going to be a digital nation. And for us to achieve that, we also need to make sure that we are empowering our communities, our youth, and our students, and everyone who is the local space to be able to enjoy the same digital opportunities. And we've seen that this is something that has a potential of changing how economic development is going to look like in the local regions. And we want to see Mama Mboga able to, interact with the bigger communities and, sell their products, and also even get to know what are the current trends, what are the things happening. So it comes along with different activities, including capacity building. We train communities. We want to train Mama Mboga to know how to use internet. It is not just a matter of connecting. It is a matter of making sure that the internet is good enough to empower lives and to transform lives into something that can change the community economic status.
The joke on the internet and especially X social media platform has been about the president's remark on Njue, something like that, right? And that in itself, when you look at it from a different perspective, brings to the fore the fact that Kenyans are yet to embrace the vast potential of internet in terms of just making resources. How then do we ensure that each and every person in the country, and especially now that you are actually aggressively moving forward in terms of ensuring that accessibility to internet connectivity is actually at a higher level, how do we then ensure that we can leverage on the same to ensure that those actually in the village actually can access these opportunities and make money?
Yeah, sure, definitely. I think one of the biggest challenges that we've seen within the communities is the access to digital devices. We've seen connecting communities to internet, but to some extent, they don't have phones, they don't have laptops, or let's say community labs that they can be able to access and use internet to change their economic status. So I think a call to action will be, how can we work with the government to extend the government services? There is a Huduma Center. Government wants to digitize 5,000 services, to the communities. How can they get to access that? So it means we need to also think about building and providing ICT infrastructure, things like computers, hubs, so that they can be able to, we can be able to avail services closer to the communities alongside the internet.
Thank you very much, Engineer Odhiambo. Of course, that is Engineer Odhiambo, the President of Internet Services Kenya. Of course, just breaking it out for us exactly what they're actually doing here, but more importantly also ensuring that we can actually understand what needs to be done in terms of ensuring that the unconnected in the country can actually be connected and start exploiting this vast potential that remains unexploited. Back to you, Njue.
Very well, thank you indeed, Chola Simon, for that report engaging Internet Service Kenya CEO in Siaya, where they have community networks. And one of the things that they have been able to do is boosting internet provision in the community, which he has noted internet provision has been, and digital services has been quite a challenge in the communities in Siaya, but they are doing all they can to ensure that residents are digitized. Today is the 14th of February. Of course, it is Valentine's Day, and there's also a men's conference. Yes, we are crossing over to the Nairobi Green Park Stadium, where my colleague Frederick Parsayo is engaging some of the boda riders who from different parts of CBD here in Nairobi who have gathered there, and they seek to enlighten boda riders on road safety. And it's something that has been embraced by the NTSA. Let's cross over and listen.
Kufikia mwisho wa mwaka jana tulipoteza watu 4,430. Kati ya hao 1,000 wametoka kwa uendeshaji wa nini wa bodaboda, na wengi wamejeruhiwa. Kwa hivyo this was a very important forum ili tuweze kuzungumza ana kwa ana, na umeona hapa mazungumzo, nimefurahi sana bwana Elto. Mazungumzo sio kwenye hoteli, tunakaa hapa tunapiga, ni baraza, tunazungumzia mambo haya, and this is very good. Moving forward, NTSA tutashirikiana na washikadau hawa wote katika kaunti zile zingine, tuhakikishe kwamba tunafikia kila Mkenya pale mashinani kupitia kongamano hili la men's conference.
Swali hili kwamba
protect me from the questions.
Swali hili kwamba mnapanga labda ikue kila mwaka ama mnapanga labda mtakuwa na kongamano lingine?
Nitaachia bwana Leto ambaye ni msimamizi wa mambo haya atatuambia kila mwaka au
labda tu kwa nini kwanza kuwashukuru kufika kujumuika nasi. Tumesema kwamba we are not ready to lose more men on the road just because they are not well secured in terms of safety kits. Tumesema for something to have an impact, we do it for 1 year, because the next time we'll have a men's conference is again a day like this next year. So when we meet next year, we want to go to another agenda. Last year's agenda was mental health awareness. This year is men and safety. So, for example, we are just flagging off the campaign today here at Green Park or Uhuru Park. On Saturday, we will be in Bomet Green Stadium to do a similar exercise for our members of the men's conference. And then the other week will be in Nakuru. As we speak now, already the group in Malindi has concluded its work in Malindi stage. The group in Kitale has concluded. The groups in Meru have concluded. So in total today, we have held 20 men conferences flagging off of the men's safety caravan that will be going across all the 47 counties. At least, nimwambia au wangwana wa bodaboda, we want to run this campaign together. Tukifika December, kabla waanze kubeba watu wa kwenda sherehe, mutatuandalia party kubwa sana ya success of the work we are launching today for the entire year. Sindio? Asanteni. Kwa hivyo, I think so that we also catch up because we have a very last exercise.
Very well, their version of men's conference, the theme for this year's men's conference being men and safety. They have gathered at the Nairobi Green Stadium where they have launched, together with NTSA, they have launched a road safety work that they say they will be working together to ensure that no man dies as a result, and especially the border operators as a result of road accident. 3,000 people die every year as a result of road accident. Today being the Valentine's Day men's conference, is also Ash Wednesday. So Catholic faithful across the country marked Ash Wednesday, which symbolizes the beginning of 40 days of Lent. At St. Anne and Joachim in Ndumberi in Kiambu County, the Catholic faithful were called upon to use this period to repent, pray, and share with the less fortunate in the society.
At St. Anne and Joachim Catholic Church in Ndumberi, Kiambu County, Catholic faithful gathered to celebrate Ash Wednesday, marking the beginning of Lent. It is a day of repentance when Christians confess their sins and profess their devotion to God. It is also a reminder of human mortality and the need for reconciliation with God. During Mass, ashes are placed on worshippers' forehead in the shape of a cross. On this day, Father in Charge Paul Maichohi Ndongo urged the Catholic faithful to use this period to pray, repent, and share with the less fortunate in society.
We are calling upon our Christians all over the world and all over the country that we hearken to the voice of the Lord that is inviting us today to return to Him. Where we have gone astray, it is time to come back to the Lord. He is willing and ready to receive us back.
It's a call for us to have 40 days of repentance, to come closer to God, and to exercise the acts of mercy by visiting those who are in need and helping those people who can be able to, who really need our help.
He called on the political class to be intentional about building a cohesive society, while at the same time addressing the challenges facing Kenyans.
To work together for the unity of our country, to work together for the growth of our country, and to close their differences, especially during this time of Lent, so that they can promote cohesiveness, so that they can promote unity. And even where the government is being criticized, sometimes they look at the positive criticism that is coming from the opposition and they do something.
A similar service was taking place at St. Anne Muthure in Kikuyu, Kiambu County. Father Raphael Mbogwa reminded Christians of the importance of fasting and helping the needy in society.
Bushwa ya kwamba maisha yetu hapa duniani ni mafupi, tena tunakubushwa kujinyenyekeza mbele zake Mwenyezi Mungu, tukijiona sisi ni wadhaifu, ni wanyonge, na yule tu ataweza kutuinua juu ni Mungu mwenyewe.
Maombi sana sana ndio inatakikana wakati huu, kujinyima na zaidi ya yote kupeana. Kupea wale ambao hawana, wale ambao ni maskini, na wale ambao hawana uwezo katika familia.
Nancy Okware, Lunchtime News.
Moving on, a motion to impeach Kisii Deputy Governor Robert Monda has been tabled at the Kisii County Assembly. Ichuni ward member of the County Assembly, Wycliffe Siocha, who is a sponsor of the motion, accuses Monda of, among others, violating the Constitution, abuse of office, commission of crimes, and contravention of the Code of Conduct for Public Officers. The Kisii Deputy Governor says he will defend himself before the House.
We don't want to start to preempt, let the due process be followed, because this is a legal issue, and it must follow all the laid down procedures, both in the 2010 Constitution of Kenya and also as pursuant to our standing orders as an assembly.
Very well, at about 25 minutes past the top of the hour, we are due for a break, but when we come back, we still have more stories, and after we've run those stories, we will be getting to the conversation on soil testing. As I informed you, we have a soil scientist in the house.
It's time to get stepping. Step up to your most loved content and enjoy the next level upgrade for free.
Respect that.
Upgrade now and step up to even more action. Step up to more football. Step up to more local drama. Step up to more fun and get more than you pay for. Upgrade now and get boosted to the next package for free. Dial *423# or call 0711 066 000 and upgrade to the next level for free.
On KBC Channel 1, we are a TV station like no other. Get a taste of the best in entertainment.
Yes, indeed.
Feel the passion.
Will you promise me?
I swear that you will never lose me. I can't get married to you.
I'm sure you knew about it. That's why you're making fun of me.
Experience the drama.
Get out.
Who is the man in this one?
And the laughter.
Hii wigi umevaa kichwani.
Sile wakati tulikuwa tunapishwa tunapewa mheshimiwa.
Move to the beat.
We are live from Broadcasting House.
And get informed on the latest happenings. KBC Channel 1.
Wow.
We are the full package.
Oh, yes.
And Kenya's watching.
Thank you very much for joining us.
KBC Channel 1 continues to bring you the exciting Football Kenya Federation Premier League, with 2 matches being aired live each weekend. This Saturday, Kenya Police battles Shabana, while Posta Rangers will take on Ulinzi Stars. Watch this double-header from Police Circle Stadium, kicking off at 1 p.m. and 4 p.m, live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Welcome back, and many thanks for keeping it Channel 1. The head of state, President William Ruto, is on a development tour in Kiambu and Murang'a counties, and as we speak, he is in Lari constituency. Let's first of all cross over.
Wengine wafanya digital jobs. Sasa my friend, sasa wewe mtu ya hapa Lari, nataka ufikirie vizuri. Uko na nafasi kufanya kazi kwa housing. Uko na nafasi kufanya digital jobs. Uko na nafasi ya export of labor. Wewe ni kujipanga. Tunaelewana jameni? Mutapangana hivyo? Tutashirikiana? Ya mwisho, tulikubaliana pia mambo ya matibabu. Na tulikubaliana ya kwamba wale munalipa pesa ya NHIF, saa hizi munalipa shilingi 500. Bado watu wengi wanaenda hospitali, bili inakuja kubwa, mambo ya diabetes, mambo ya cancer, mambo ya hypertension, inafika milioni moja, milioni mbili, tunauza nyumba, tunauza shamba, tunauza ng'ombe. Ni kweli ama si kweli? Tumesema sasa mambo ya matibabu tutayashughulikia kwa njia tofauti, na tumebadilisha sheria ya Kenya ya matibabu. Mimi nimeweka sahihi sheria 4 mpya ambayo itahakikisha number 1, wale watu wote wako na bill ya mambo ya chronic illness. Sasa tutakuwa na chronic illness fund ambayo italipisha ama italipa gharama ya kansa, gharama ya hypertension, gharama ya diabetes kwa kila Mkenya.
It's time to do business. We begin where consumers in Kenya will now be able to trace the origin of the products they order on e-commerce platforms to confirm their authenticity. This follows the launch of operations by Indian traceability company called Next in Kenya. The firm offers a software where consumers can scan a product and receive information on the origin, authenticity, and quality.
Kenyan market, followed by energy and electronic products. This is according to a report by the Anti-Counterfeit Authority of Kenya. However, the government is keen on taming the counterfeiting as it seeks to empower consumers and businesses. Called Next, India's traceability company in supply chains has officially launched its operations in Kenya with a promising vision to combat the proliferation of counterfeit products that have long plagued the country's markets.
What we want to do is to grow manufacturing, and we can only grow manufacturing in Kenya if we make it more efficient. When it gets more efficient, it will get cheaper. I know that some of these solutions cost money, but in the long term, because when you introduce efficiency, then you will be able to reduce your cost of production. Even from a government perspective, we are excited because then it will also make it easier for us to be able to trace, to make sure that products meet the quality.
With Kenya setting up a lot more investment on manufacturing, I think we're very excited to be here, to be a part of this journey, and to contribute as much as possible to providing solutions that can aid the Kenyan government to actually set up manufacturing, set up traceability processes, and to improve the economy out here.
Leveraging advanced technology and robust tracking systems, it is poised to empower consumers and businesses alike with the tools needed to verify the authenticity of goods throughout the supply chain.
This one is coming at the right time because in this era, which is marked with unprecedented technological advancement, the importance of traceability cannot be overstated. The ability to track and trace the journey of products and goods throughout the supply chain is not a luxury, but a necessity in today's world.
So that begins to tell us that if our manufacturing industry were to adopt these tracing technologies, then we would be able to plug 20% of our GDP straight on.
Through a simple access real-time information about the origin, authenticity, and quality of the products they purchase, and at the same time be able to trace the products they have ordered through the e-commerce platforms. Frederick Mwoki for Lunchtime News.
Now, a Kenyan has been re-elected as a board member of Crowe Global, making him the only African to serve in that capacity. Crowe Erastus and company managing partner Erastus Kwako Omolo has secured a 2-year term as a board member of Crowe Global, which has operations in 140 countries. Erastus says he will use the membership at the board to broaden investors' understanding of the African market, global financial business flows, cross-border trading and tax opportunities. Erastus will serve alongside other directors drawn from the USA, Canada, UK, France, Germany, South Korea, Australia, Kuwait and India.
The learnings from our countries is largely unknown to the outside world there. And I've discovered that even those who seem to know a lot of things know very little about Kenya, know very little about Africa, and this position of governance has made it possible for me to see a much larger picture from other parts of the world, and what are some of the good things and practices that we could actually import, bring in to strengthen our own institutions and governance systems.
Now, the county government of Isiolo has received 10 million shillings from 5 community conservancies as 5% annual levy from the sale of carbon credits. Isiolo County Secretary Dado Boru says proceeds from the carbon sale will be used to enhance conservation efforts by supporting various community conservancies within the devolved unit. All right, and that marks the end of business news for now. But the interview, we start our interview on soil testing now. I'm joined by Manoj Kaushal, who is a soil scientist and also at the Consortium of International Agriculture Research Centers, CGIAR. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Maybe you start us off what the CGIAR is and what you do there.
Thanks for having me, first of all, and good afternoon.
Welcome.
And hello to all your viewers. So CGIAR is a global organization, is the largest organization in the globe, which works for international agriculture research and the development. And it has an umbrella which serves like 13 different organizations, and they are based like around the globe in different continents and in different countries. So myself, like I take the opportunity to introduce like Manoj Kaushal. I work as a soil scientist in CGIAR in one of the organization which is called as Alliance of Biodiversity International NCET. And I'm associated with CGIAR from past 11 years, working in different continents on different perspectives on the issues of the soil health and so on.
And it's a good thing that you're coming at a time when agriculture is being taken very seriously here in the country, and the head of state has made agriculture one of his flagship projects. One of the things he has done is on fertilizer, but it's something that we also need to know more about, because if you have the best fertilizers, you have to also to know how the soils are. You might have the best fertilizers but not have the best soils. Tell us something about soil fertility and soil testing.
Yeah,
and why it is important, especially now for farmers.
Yeah, I think it's really crucial and is super important for the farmers to know about the soil fertility, which in terms we call it as soil health, and also the fertilizers. For instance, the planting season in Kenya is right now approaching. The farmers should well aware of the soil, the status of the soils well in advance. I start with then giving an example of getting the status of the soil fertility status in the soils. Why it's important to the farmers? Because farmers should be well aware of the nutrient status like nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, or whatever the requirement of the crop is in the soil, and so that how much is the present in the soil and how much they plan to plant the crop is required by that crop. So this helps in optimization of the fertilization status of the soil, so that it will not hamper the productivity and the plants what the farmers are planning to plant the crops in subsequent seasons.
And I know Caro, which is formerly Kari, was doing a lot of soil testing. Is it the only one doing it, or there are other private entities like yourself who are doing it?
Yes, there are. Carlo is our indeed very good partners, and we are working very closely with the Carlos, not only in Nairobi but also in the Carlo Kibos in Kisumu. So they are really a great partners, and we are in a great partnership doing a lot of work on the soil health and the soil testing, very important as you said. But there are some other entities like private players, those who helps us in doing the soil testing. And there are some international organizations in Nairobi, those who have a good soil labs where we can take the advantages of their analysis.
As you said, it's a good thing that you said that we are in the planting season. What are some of the main factors that are affecting soil and can compromise on the output?
Yeah, there are so many factors that affects the soil. First of all is the most important, if we talk about with the perspective of smallholder farming communities, the unsustainable land use practices. Unsustainable land use practices, when I'm saying that, it could be any. It could be an improper tillage of the farm, it could be a deforestation, it could be a overgrazing that affects the soil and directly related with the productivity. Another important factor is the climate. Suppose there is always a risk of either a severe drought or either flood due to a heavy and long rain season. What happens in the last December where we have been El Nino rains. So there is always such kind of situations where they hamper the productivity. And the another major is about the farming systems or the cropping patterns, what the farmers are usually doing, and it's not the farmers are doing themselves. Sometimes there is a market pressure to do the monocropping or to only to look for the single crop, suppose the maize, and because the market is built only for that crop, and the farmers are forced to do the monocropping again and again, and which usually we call it as they does the nutrient mining from the soil from their farms. Every time they remove certain amount of the nutrients, but that's not getting back. And the last and the most important, I would say, is an overuse and excessive use of fertilizers. That also is something related with the market pressure. And when there is a journal like thinking that if I use a lot of fertilizer, I will get to that productivity, but that's not always true. So with a lot of fertilizers, you hamper your soil health, you hamper your productivity. So you always have a kind of need to think all these conditions in the mind and to make a blend of different situation.
Other than crop rotation, which other farming tips can you be giving farmers, especially now that we are headed to the planting season?
Yeah, like for that thing, I think crop rotation is most important one. But another thing, I would also suggest to do the diversification of the crops. Not only relying on one crop, but do the different species and the different varieties of the crop. That can also help them to adapt in a severe climate conditions also. Another important practices I would recommend is of doing cover crops, which helps in retaining the moisture in the soils, retaining the evaporation loss in the soils. And that also is something we called as an best management practices, is doing mulching in the soils to prevent. And that also the crop mulching also helps in reducing the pest and disease infestation, along with controlling the erosion and runoff from the soil.
Tell us something you're doing about the soil in a number of counties. I see there's Vihiga, there's Kisumu under the Nature Positive Solutions Initiative.
Yes. So this Nature Positive Solution Initiative is a global initiative where we are working in CGIAR, in Latin America, Asia and Africa. And indeed, in Kenya is one of the most important focus country for us. Here we are focused in Kisumu and Vihiga, and we also have an implementation plan in Kajiado and in Turkana counties. Most importantly, what we have started in Kisumu and Vihiga, that we have an aggregation of the farm. The communities, like around 200 farmers, they come together and we are doing the farm aggregation and trying the different nature positive intervention. With regards to the soil, we are doing the soil baseline studies where we want to know what is the physical, chemical, and the biological properties of the soil, and what are the things that are hampering the fertility and the productivities at different levels. And also we want to know the influx gradient of the nutrients in the different regions, because Higa and Kisumu is a very different landscape. So we want to compare and see how the nutrient influx occurs in different gradients. Yeah.
Maybe any plans of scaling up the project to other counties, or the 2 counties for now?
Yes, for 2 counties, but indeed we have a plan to scale the same in Turkana and the same in Kajiado. And so, as I said, it's a global initiative. So the plan is scaled to the different counties as well as to the different countries in East Africa as well as in other parts of the countries.
And in like 5 seconds, how many times should a farmer test his or her own soil?
Usually, I think it's recommended every 2 years. But if the farmers are getting enough productivity and there is no issue of the soil in terms of the pest and disease infestation, in terms of the stress that is not hampering their fertility and the productivity, I think farmers are good to go. But the usual recommendation is every 2 years to go. But usually as a farmers, because farmers knows much more, they stay always on the ground. So they understand the things and when they need to go for the soil testing. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Manoj Kaushao. Unfortunately, we are out of time, but thank you so much, and good initiative you're doing, and we are hoping that all the counties, the 47 counties, maybe the project might help a number of parents, and especially those young men and women who are venturing into agriculture for the first time.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Manoj Kaushal, who is a soil scientist at the Consortium of International Agriculture Research Centers, CGIA, are telling us a lot about soil testing in regards to helping out farmers better their agriculture and their output. In other news, in efforts to mechanize agriculture, Busia County government has acquired tractors with the capacity to till 20,000 acres of land at a subsidized rate. The tractors are expected to support 150 registered farming households across the county, increase food production.
The unveiling of the new tractors for subsidized mechanization, Busia Governor Dr. Paul Otuoma said mechanizing farming, agricultural extension services, and subsidizing farm inputs will help area residents tackle food insecurity and fight against poverty.
If we can do 20,000 acres of proper mechanized tilling, agriculture extension services, certified seeds, this will go a long way in helping us to tackle the problem of food insecurity and hunger in this county.
Dr. Otuoma is urging Parliament to fast-track the process of enacting a legislation authorizing the disbursement of conditional grants to counties to unlock the funds for service delivery.
The finance bill ambayo iko kule ambayo inashughulikia that area ya conditional grants from government should not be delayed further because it is hampering service delivery.
They challenged farmers to embrace modern farming technologies and mechanize their activities.
Tafadhali tuweze kupanda na mbolea na mbegu nadhani inakuja kwa haraka ili watu waweze kupokea mbolea, na natumai hii wakati karibu kila ward itakuwa na store.
Ian Muse reporting for Lunchtime News.
In sports, the country is still in mourning 3 days after the death of marathon star Kevin Kiptum and his coach Gervais Hakizimana. President William Ruto led a minute silence in a cabinet meeting at State House to honor the lives of the two. Members of Parliament also observed a minute of silence at the National Assembly and appealed for a full investigation into the crash and for better protection of the country's sporting talent.
Tumekuwa naye kutoka 2010 hadi saizi. He's been good husband to me, and he was a good father to my baby. We had so many plans. Hata Monday yenye imepita tulikuwa tunapanga our daughter aingie shule.
And again, may the Lord rest the two souls in everlasting peace. Thank you indeed so much for joining us. That's all we had lined up for you right here on KBC Channel 1 Lunchtime News. For more, we have more in our subsequent bulletin, not to mention on our social media spaces, including our website, that is www.kbc.co.ke. My name is Njue. Anwangeshi has been my colleague on the sign language interpretation. Thank you so much indeed for watching. Do have yourself a blessed afternoon.
The king in the land of
This February, precious moments with Channel 1 entail endless hours of warm sentiments.
I really love you.
Oh, Lord.
Joy.
Did you get the job, Letty?
Romance.
Oh, babe.
Affection. Passion.
Na hisia zinasobubujika moyoni mwangu.
Family.
Who are those flowers for? Oh, I'm sure they're for Lucia.
Fulfillment.
This is so
That's
sweet.
just the start.
An array of programs specially selected for you to give you and your loved ones the cozy feeling of being at home.
Impressive.
Baby, let me tell you.
The treat is on us.
Are you serious?
Just give us a chance.
Make a date with KBC Channel 1 in the month of love for a heartwarming experience.
You will love it.